You already know. Dear God, I thank you for this time right now, this time of exposition, I think. It's all about you. Let me start.
In 2010, your special guest led the fledgling COLLAGE Entertainment's production team and a small group of actors to nationwide notoriety and success with the wildly popular public service announcement release of Stop Liking Man 2, utilizing sketch comedy as the foundation of the brand's public relations and marketing strategy of choice. This well-timed decision would mark the company's official entry into the Bahamian media, entertainment, and advertising arena. Welcome to the country's newest and only faith-based entertainment space for y'all. I'm COLLAGE, and this is YALL Space Podcast.
Say it again. Super. I enjoy it. Real fun. You know anybody on Canada? I could pick half.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, we're live.
Can y'all hear me?
Have a seat.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we're live.
Y'all? Is this on? Hello? Y'all can hear me, right? It's like bright.
It is live. Theater seats and the studio for theaters.
Hello? We live, y'all.
Tyrone, what would have inspired you all to have established or start COLLAGE Entertainment?
Most times when I tell people about exactly what happened and what inspired us to do it, you see people kind of like leaning close, they expect something profound, and then I say, well, we just like movies, right? But it was a mixture of that, and then it was a mixture of we would go to churches and we would see like other persons doing drama in different churches or maybe schools, and it wasn't always the best.
I was going to say, you thought you could do it better.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you grew up in my era and where you had to watch the news with your parents, and then you had to sit through the commercials, the Bahamian commercials too, and you're like, boring. Right, boring or probably overacting. That's just how we felt. But and when we got into it, it wasn't to say, oh, look at us, we're gonna do it better, we're gonna teach all the y'all. We just was like, hey, let's just go and do what it is that we have to do. And the commercials and stuff were like the furthest thing from our mind, and we just love what we do.
Okay, I love it. All right, so we were talking about in your era, right? There weren't many Bahamian commercials back then, right?
You had a few.
Anyway, what would have inspired you all to
Sorry.
try to even, be on, it wasn't social media back then, but try to produce these different skits, whatever it is you would call them. What would have inspired you all to push to be on TV then? I mean,
Right. There wasn't a push to be on TV. More or less a push to act or tell stories. You see, we, like I said, we were doing dramas and things for church, right? And YouTube wasn't around until about 2005 or so. Facebook was 2007. So we did a lot of community work, and our first big project was a Youth Alive project. And at the time, the Youth Alive conference was the biggest youth conference in the country. There's no argument there. And that's a whole other. There's a whole lot behind that. So everything that we did was just based on our passion and our love for the craft. And because of that, people had asked us to do a number of things. Even the when we really stopped liking man on social media, that was just the first one we did, was just something done on a regular amateur camera. And we're just sending a particular message, listen, stop following people,
Right.
Be yourself. And you're a person's telling us you'll need to do another one. And so we
Okay.
did that, and then it just ended up being like a big deal before the memes even came out, and all that stuff. But we were just a group of guys that love what we do. We were doing it for church, and we ended up making a difference on a wider stage, even though we didn't start out in comedy.
You really did. I mean, I believe that all of the work that I ever saw you do, ever what you create, it was hilarious, right?
Thanks.
But as a creative, do you have your favorite piece of work that you would have done, or one that you really wish you never did?
The ones I wish I never did? Well, I would say, when you've done this long enough in a 21/7, it's so small. It's such a small island. Not country. People think that Nassau is the country, and it's just this one island. And I happen to live on it. And some things I just can't say. So if I talk about the worst thing that I have experienced, I may die. I'll survive after the interview when it's released. But I can say that EDM means something to me and the team and I.
What is EDM?
EDM, we call it the Easter Day Massacre. And the less I say, the better. We lost a lot of people in that war, believe it or not. But my favorite thing, let's talk about the good stuff, the stuff that I actually had control of. The thing that I had control of was the film that we made. Our first mainstream film was Get Charlie. And we were overwhelmingly supportive. Oh, you saw Get Charlie? Thank you. That's what I
loved it.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you went to the movies to see it, but thank you. And because we were really, really, to see everyone inside the theater stand up to us, give a standing ovation when the film's done, and it's a Bahamian one. And we weren't affiliated with anyone else but our talent and the craft and the team.
That's what I was gonna ask you. How y'all get there, like to even think big enough to say
We always
we're going to hit the big screen? Like, how y'all get there?
we were doing one of our one of the projects that I do love the most that not as much people know about is actually somewhat of a horror that we did, but it's on a spiritual type of supernatural thing about good and evil, But that we always loved film. We the guys who watch movies that people may not necessarily like to watch, science fiction and stuff like that. We big Matrix fans. We like Friday too, but Friday you can't really let everybody know.
Okay, as a creative, is there anything that you would take from, that was 10, how much years ago that was now?
When you be in from the time that we started, or
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
as a creative,
What would you take from those years? Would you take anything, or would you bring anything from that era into today? Like, what are you doing now?
Oh yes.
Or
yes.
with what you're doing now, would you bring anything?
Yes, I would bring the passion from that era, but before the time when it was just about the amount of clicks or views or likes that you got. People were more real. I miss that a lot. Even some of the guys who we inspired or who came up afterwards, there were persons that came out and they just did it because they realized after we've done it, say, oh wow, we can do that too. And I was really, really glad about that.
Yeah.
That was one of the main things we wanted to show people too, that listen, if we could do it, anyone could do it. But what happened was, you have now where the only reason people do these things is not necessarily to inspire, but just to
That's right there.
right, they just would do it to bring me up, and the thing is, right, and then they stop doing things if they don't feel like enough persons would have seen it. And I miss the time when people just when people just did things because they have a love for doing it, and that's it. They don't care.
Yes, they have a clout.
Yeah. So you don't know who is who anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, you said you bring your passion and, you know, I guess being genuine
Right.
from that era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what were you doing in that time, in any event? People want to know.
Mm-hmm.
What they say,
When it's
inquiring minds want to know.
We're talking about between the release of Get Charlie to now, or
Mm-hmm.
there were things that I would have done. We did the Hello Monday series. That's a sketch comedy series. We did the RBP. There's a spoof political party that we did.
Okay.
So the commentary just became more constructive or more structured too. And I've done a number of things behind the scenes too, because I do write and then I produce music as well. But that's neither,
Really?
you know, the
That's what you've been doing?
well, it's most of the music for the scores and the stuff that we'd have done.
Uh-huh.
I was a part of that team too, the
Okay.
composition of those and stuff.
Okay.
But those are the things that people kind of care about less, and that's where the whole collage thing comes from. Whereas like you have many different parts for one big picture, and that's how film is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we did a lot of work building the brand, and what I do a lot of times I work with a lot of youth groups, young writers, just kind of getting them, teaching them how to write things better, or how to get
Okay.
how to get persons more involved in it, how to find the director within the young people in your church, instead of trying to call on me all the time. I don't want you calling me all the time. That ain't the point. We want to give that to somebody else, and then
So
um,
what you being a philanthropist?
somewhat. I didn't even see it that way. These days people do it and they make sure that there's a phone running, a
Everybody
camera
knows,
running on,
yeah.
and then they will post it on
Yeah.
Instagram. You have churches doing that too. Hey, listen, tag this on Instagram and all that. I just do it because I remember that back in the day, nobody was looking for me to give me that chance and that opportunity. So anytime I go to like a school, I talk to a group of students or talk to a group of young people, I feel really good about that because I know that nobody came to visit me when I was in school back in the day, and that always blows my mind. I love to see that.
I love it. All right, so you told us a bit about where you've been in reference to, that creative side of you, but tell us about TJ 2024 in
TJ
reference
2024.
to your personal life. Like, what were we missing? Because we didn't really know what was going on in your personal life, but what has been happening in your personal life? Who are you today?
I am more or less the same person, but I guess probably a bit more reserved about certain things. Like I said, I do a lot more work behind the scenes now because in front of the camera you don't get to do as much foundational work. I have a family, wife and two children. Right.
Girls, guys.
Girls. Right. So I have 3 shotguns. Yeah, and a bazooka just to be safe.
That's what we have to say.
Yeah, all the time. Because you need that.
Mm-hmm.
See, now this the side of me that people don't get to see or whatever. South Andres, I don't play. The pow. My son, don't try to run, because I ain't gonna mess with this shotgun. You know the song?
Mm-hmm.
I made that song. I write that song. All right, but yeah. But I mean, it's this that and like I say, helping where, especially post pandemic, helping where like a person's get back to some level of normalcy, right?
I love that. So what about career?
Production management is a big deal for me. I would say that law and production management. Right now, it's in the field of production. I do write. I am working on a few literary pieces, 1 or 2 movies, and like a stage play or 2. So there's a lot that's going on, especially this year in particular, because I have 2 pretty sizable projects, and then there are 1 or 2 projects that I want to complete and then make short films. So I'm always with some team or the next team. Yeah.
Doing something. All right. I haven't known you for a long time. However, the short period that I've watched you, like personally,
Right.
You're still funny. Like, I always laugh at.
Okay.
when I've been in your presence. Like I said, it hasn't been long, but
Right,
a couple times
right.
that I've been in your presence, I've been laughing a lot. What would you consider yourself? You just told us about, the lawyer in you and, those other things. But would you also consider yourself to be a comedian or a Christian comedian?
People ask me this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I am a God-fearing man that people happen to laugh at when I tell stories. If that makes any sense, the reason why, I try to make someone else's day lighter or a bit easier is because I know what it's like to have people just not try to do that at all and make it all about them. It could get pretty horrifying sometimes. Few people know that I'm an introvert. Actually,
No, you're not.
yeah, believe it or not. You don't know me long enough, but you one like, you know what I mean? You'd be like, yeah, let's go. It's like, no. But I'm not a party pooper, if that, if it make any sense. So I guess I'd say more reserved, maybe. Maybe that's the word, conservative.
Let me throw this little piece in here.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
back in those
I grew up in a military family too. You see, so
back in those days, like
Uh-huh.
when it was like you're really, really deep into,
Mhm.
collage entertainment.
right.
And I would see you or, the other people in collage
Right.
entertainment. You see y'all out and you automatically start to laugh because y'all always making people laugh.
That's how to get you.
Like when you see your face screw up, like what
Mm.
what was that all about?
We come up. All my life I had to fight. All right. Wait, on a more serious note, I've had persons tell me before that, boy, I don't ever know if you're being serious or you,
Mm-hmm.
we came up middle class. Some of us actually, somewhere within the poverty line. You have persons like me who would have to catch the bus to school. I grew up in the government school system. There are certain rules on a day-to-day basis that you have to keep in
Unwritten
mind.
rules.
Right, you couldn't walk around smiling all the time. That's how they rob you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they may try to rob you anyway. So you just have to not have it on you
Mm-hmm.
in your pockets. And you have to be creative with where you put that. Not like prison, but more like real life, not that extreme. Or like trying to get from the the airport checkpoint. Because that's get a little dark sometimes. It ain't that dark. Just are you serious,
I know, but
I am literally talking like sense.
I know you are.
Sense. And this is why I don't like to be serious with people because they actually will think that I'm
Joking.
joking.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you up front, life ain't a game. They will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
You know who they is?
No.
All of them.
Shepherds.
All of them.
How to take you serious though?
Hmm?
How to take you seriously though?
You would know.
Okay.
Trust me, you would know.
And so, like,
Mhm.
just how you told that story just now,
Uh-huh.
I could see some of your skits coming out of that. So, were they real, fake, like?
I would say,
Yes, I'm not-
okay, when we started, because of how we initially started, they're all parables. So the way we always saw it, I know with me being the main writer, were these like stories that connected to something, but loosely related to something that actually happened.
Okay.
But just like a little bit, just close to the edge, but not completely off the cliff.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of truth in a lot of stuff that we do.
Right. Okay. So let's move into y'all.
Yes.
The y'all space. Right.
Mhm.
You are the manager.
The
there?
house manager, right?
The house manager.
Right.
So tell us about your role here.
The house manager is something like the superintendent. I'm actually glad that I'm that person. And not say, for example, just there for talent, because again, I like to work behind the scenes. One of the things that I had established with Collage is we make you look good if you're doing a project. And I like to make sure that people have, I like to bring projects to. I'm the friend. Yeah. Instead of just being the person where everyone working behind the scenes, to make you look good. So I deal with things with getting things sort of the other side, things that we may need for the performances that are coming up. Maybe it's the booking, or maybe it's the following up with the talent, or just overall making sure people enjoy the experience of YALL Space when they get here, and not have this cold, you owe us type of thing when it's really supposed to be about y'all. That's what we did. We get jolly. We gave the red carpet to the persons who bought the tickets, not the actors. I tell them, y'all go inside, go sell popcorn. And put the red carpet on there and let them walk in. Which y'all taking pictures for, go from around here. You know. In other words, we do it for the people, and that's how I love to see it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and then this is the final question.
Okay.
And
Should I be afraid? Should I be concerned?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
I
That's
think
good.
I'll handle you well.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Okay, in this space as a creative, what's next for you? Like, what plans do you have?
I would really love to see the next generation of us, and a better version, But what I'm trying to do these days is facilitate the next generation or the next step the next generation that wants to do this outside of the idea of just being an influencer for social media's sake, or influencer for this, or that, where like it's all about the clout and all that, and more about a message that's not so political all the time. It's just a message, I guess. Right. So right now, that's what I'm really, really working towards. People seeing performances that they could actually trust, and that's not a performance that's pushing some political agenda again. Because
Or
people,
some underlying
yeah,
agenda,
people
'cause
are
we
so
see
sick.
that a
Yeah.
lot.
People are sick of being bombarded with it all the time. People are sick of fake artists and fake talent too. And that's what I think too, right? So that's what I really want to do with the next generation coming up.
I told you that was the last question, but I got one more for you, Bang.
I ain't sure.
Y'all had to do anything. You had the chance to do anything. What would it be and why?
If you had to do anything, I would say I would love to give someone I have this saying in my head where I didn't know about persons like Calvin Lockhart and all these persons when we were in school.
Right.
I didn't know that, one of my favorite movies, children can't watch it, one of my favorite movies, but me didn't know I was watching either, but one of my favorite movies is The Predator, and to know that Calvin Lockhart was in the second movie. The Predator killed him, by the way. Yeah, Bahamian guy and all that. So I always think about how I have this short story that I wrote where the young version of me met the adult version of me, where I said I wanted so I said you was my hero, and like looking at me now and I say this entire time I didn't realize that I was talking about me. And I said that because the persons that I wish I met when I was small, I never got a chance to meet. So one of the things I would like to do someday is be that for someone else, and actually be sincere about it. It's not about some campaign and all this, but someone that actually believe in you, and for you not to have to go through so much pain and suffering and struggle just to get to this position where I'm at now, because it wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't easy, but I know that today it is possible. So I'd like to kind of prove that to somebody else too.
Something? Those struggle for things are what made you who you are. But I love your heart. It sounds amazing. But
I could have been in prison and stuff. Like that's the widest story.
And even sometimes if your life is easier, it really takes you down that dark hole. So anyway, I'm loving who you are.
I wouldn't want to try
today.
to. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. What has me laughing and living? Really living. Life was lifing for me this past week because I had a grandbaby born. Can you believe it? Yes, I had a grandson born. So like I said, life was lifing, but it really had me laughing too because he's the cutest thing. I love him so much. Hi, King.
about Scooters, they have a special place in my heart now. Scoots McGee, that's me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me do it one more time. I just want to make sure I sincere, you see? I can be quick though. Yeah, God, I thank you for this time right now, God, to testify. God, I ask that your will be done and be done away with. Father, have your way and maybe just enjoy explaining what your purpose is for me and this place. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
One of the things you learn when you ride a scooter over here, right, that I didn't know before, a lot of y'all smoking dope when y'all on the road. I didn't know this before because I always was inside my car, and inside your car, you don't smell nothing like that. When you on a scooter, you smell everything. You either downwind from the dope, and by the time you reach wherever you have to go, you pretty much high when you get there anyway. So you pretty much on this road, on the scooter, with people saying they don't ride on this road, and you swerving. And anyone who know about a motorbike or any one of those vehicles, and I get on a motorbike at some point too, you trust me on that. Watch the flex. Watch the flex. Because I ain't got no helmet yet. I didn't want to use the helmet what they gave me with the scooter because it's one of those weird helmets what they give the tourists. Yeah, they always make it. I don't want to say nothing. I have to be politically correct. This is a nice place. But it's make you look odd, whatnot, so I don't drive with the scooter. Anybody who's ever been on a motorcycle before, you must know that the vehicle is an extension of yourself. If somebody hit that, they hit you. Once you go right, you have to turn your whole body right. So the first time I get it, I was scared out of my mind. What is end up happening though? You realize that it's always cool when you on this thing. You start zipping left, right, and center. You knock down two people. Anything that anything that you tend to hear or whatever. If you hit somebody in the scooter, ain't nobody get dead right away. So yeah. And so we have to deal with this heat all the time. That's what the Lipton was for.